name of God, Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer. So one of the mom things that I do at home is create little lists of wisdom, which I then attach to the refrigerator door, where the young people of the house will see them. Now they're all in college, so they see it intermittently when they're home on vacation. They saw it a lot during COVID, and I switch it around. The list includes things like the importance of meditation, laughter, passion, and they'll often include quotes from famous people. For instance, the advice will include the importance of eating fruits and vegetables, with a quote from Benjamin Franklin, "An apple a day is the doctor of the day." The young people of the house roll their eyes every time a new wisdom sheet appears on the fridge. But I have a reputation of giving unwanted advice to them, so nothing new there. And I think occasionally they even pay attention. I figure, however, I'm in good company, since the book of Proverbs, our first reading this morning, is a collection of advice for young people. One of the lines even says, "Keep your father's commandment, and do not forsake your mother's teaching." Apparently, parents have been giving advice for millennia. The book of Proverbs is part of what is known as the wisdom literature of the Bible. It deals more with the matters of everyday life and how to be successful in the business of living. Its authority doesn't come directly from God saying you must do this and you must do that. Rather, wisdom's authority is from observation and tradition. There are ways of right living that have been observed by people over the centuries. Some examples include verses like, "Better is a dinner of vegetables where love is than a fattened ox and hatred with it." In other words, happy relationships are more important than wealth. Another proverb is, "Without counsel, plans go wrong, but with many advisors, they succeed." Sort of similar to our "two heads are better than one." Wisdom literature offers very practical daily advice. Yet while Proverbs can be seen to be a very secular book, there are no miracles and whirlwinds and resurrections, God is at the heart of everything. It comes out of the vision that the ancient Israelites had of the world and its way it was constructed. At the very beginning of Proverbs, it says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction." And by fear, they mean awe and reverence. So the book counsels that we must start with God, and wisdom flows out from that. The creation itself, everything that we have, is from the Almighty. And by following its laws, living in harmony with the rest of the created order, which is of God, we will succeed in life. So Proverbs is advice on how to live in this harmony. So the rest of chapter 1, after saying, "Fear the Lord," we hear our reading from today. In it, wisdom is personified as a woman who is walking through the streets, encouraging people to follow her. To the ancient Israelites, this woman, wisdom, is an extension of God. Wisdom warns that those who don't follow her will suffer as a result. Those who do follow her will be rewarded with a good life. From here, the book moves into the pithy sayings and advice that make up the bulk of the book of Proverbs. And the definition of wisdom for the ancient Israelites was, like our understanding, more than just being smart. It's about a deeper knowledge of life. One theologian has defined wisdom in the Bible as the glue that holds everything together. He says, to search for wisdom is to search for the central meaning and purpose for life and living. To the ancient Israelites, the search for wisdom was actually a very spiritual matter because it was connected to God. It was about living in harmony with God and created order, and harmony with the goal of life. Some of the major themes that come out of this wisdom include the need to live in peace with and respect for our neighbors. For instance, do not plan harm against your neighbor who lives trustingly beside you. Wisdom advises that wealth and power are not the most important things. Better is a little with righteousness than large income with injustice. There are lots of proverbs about working hard, about faithfulness. Many are about keeping the peace and respecting others. Fools show their anger at once. The prudent ignore an insult. This harmony extends to all the created order, including animals. The righteous know the needs of their animals, but the mercy of the wicked is cruel. Proverbs speaks about the importance of justice. Those who oppress the poor insult their maker, but those who are kind to the needy honor him. This is the sort of thing that the mission committee does, living into these words of Proverbs. Proverbs also illustrates living with joy despite hardship. All the days of the poor are hard, but a cheerful heart has a continual feast. And there is lots and lots about right living with others. One who forgives an affront fosters friendship, but one who dwells on disputes will alienate a friend. Or do not rejoice when your enemies fall. Do not let your heart be glad when they stumble. And for those in the congregation like me who are members of the AARP, it's only courtesy of L'Oreal hair color, gray hair is a crown of glory. It is gained in a righteous life. So these are the themes that are revisited in Proverbs over and over again: faithfulness, trust, honor, honesty, peace, care for animals, children, the poor, honoring the elderly, justice, righteous wealth, right living. This is what Lady Wisdom is urging the people in the streets to hear and to heed. The vision of life that Wisdom advocates is not one in which everyone is on their own. There's no picking yourself up by your bootstraps and every man for himself. There's no immediate gratification in looking out for number one. The wise and harmonious life which flows from God is one in which we care for each other, even at some sacrifice to ourselves. Short-term personal sacrifices ensure long-term societal gain. And these societal gains, in the long run, will have positive repercussions to our own personal well-being. And this is a contemporary issue, this balance between our own personal needs, freedoms, and wealth versus the needs, health, and stability of the community. Question of balance between the individual and the community. What that balance is influences our conversations today about questions like masks and vaccines, about climate change, about taxes, about health care, about care of the needy, about which candidates to vote for. It's balance between the individual and the community. Lady Wisdom, at least as we hear her in Proverbs, tends to err on the side of a community over that of an individual. As Lady Wisdom wanders the streets, encouraging people to follow her, she ends by saying, "Those who listen to me will be secure and will live at ease without disaster." Now, that's a pretty big promise, and of course there are no guarantees. The book of Proverbs cannot ensure that if we follow all its precepts that nothing bad will ever happen to us. But it does mean that in general, many of these practices will have good results. Wise people over centuries have observed that most of them mostly work. And even if our life is hard, wisdom gives us the skills to cope with whatever comes our way. Wisdom is from God. With her guidance, we increase our odds of living lives rich with blessings.